راحت أحلام أوهام إن كان ما ضمت يمينك يميني يا وجدي إن هبت عادي على انسام من عضة شفتي وفركات يديني يا عمري اللي راحت أحلامه أوهام إن كان ما ضمت يمينك يميني يا وجدي إن هبت عادي على انسام من عضة شفتي
A lot of us want to learn new things, from languages to philosophy to anatomy and pretty much all other topics that basically interest us. The field I'm the most interested in is the Islamic Studies. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Tualibul Ilm faridatun ala kulli Muslim, that seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim. And in this video I'll be explaining and breaking down the methods that are currently used to learn new concepts within the field of Islamic Studies.
سابق فيه مهاجر كان يا عثمان ذو خروق كل ضائقة يبادر.
Now the first thing that I wanted to touch upon is actually preparation, and preparation is usually what I call kind of like the procrastination phase, because whenever I'm trying to learn something new, the preparation time a lot of the times is like the most confusing part, the time where you're like, okay, should I go into this, should I not go into this? So when it comes to the preparation part, one of the things that I do is I note it down on my to-do list, and I give myself a specific amount of time to go and kind of plan throughout what I want to do. So let's say there is a particular topic or field within the Islamic studies that I want to merge into. What I would do is that I would write down, okay, so by next week I want to start off with this, and then I also write down how can I start off with it. So the first thing is, okay, I'm going to watch this video, or there is this specific playlist that I'm going to go over, or every Monday there is this specific class at this time and that time that I'm going to go to. So the preparation phase is like the phase where you make up your intentions. You also write down how you're going to go about going through this course or this thing that you're trying to study. How are you going to tackle it, and is your time going to allow you to do that? How are you going to basically structure all of this stuff up? So once you've properly gone through the preparation stage, it's time for you to actually use some of the methods and some of the tips and tricks to make sure that what you're learning is actually staying with you, and also that what you're learning, it's something that's actually beneficial to you and is really helping you out. And one of the tips I would say for that is to immerse yourself into that topic. So when it comes to immersion, it's very important for you to kind of properly enjoy the subject that you're trying to learn, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to learn something that you don't really enjoy and you don't have the right preparation for it, it's going to be very hard for you to be consistent onto that. So immersing yourself with it would be, for example, it would be to do further research into every aspect of it. So let's say you're watching a playlist on YouTube where you want to learn about a certain topic. What you would do is that other than the playlist, you would go and do some extra research on it. So you would read a book on it, or perhaps you would just simply sit down, write about it and think about it, because that's going to help you to physically and like emotionally and mentally like immerse yourself into that specific field. And the more you spend time on that field, naturally the more you're going to learn anyway. So sitting down and just writing, just reflecting and just thinking about the things that you have learned is going to make you ask more questions, and it's going to make you think more about the topic at hand, and it's just going to make you just understand the topic at a different level than everyone else, because you're not just sitting down and just going over the stuff, but you're immersing yourself with it. You're going around there, you're talking about it, you're thinking about it. A lot of your day becomes part of it, and that will allow you to understand the topic much better and to also really remember the tiny details within the topic. Now, if you guys know me, you would know that I am one of those people who always takes or tries to take opportunities around him. So whenever there is like a talk, Islamic talk or anything locally, I would try and go and meet some brothers there. I would go and learn, make some notes, take some videos, take some clips. I would go and spend time with the sheikhs and everyone and try to get to know them and learn from their behavior, from the character, from the things that they're teaching you in the talk as well. So getting feedback from a teacher is something that's 100% very important. And one of the things that I would do all the time is whenever I go to a talk, I would take like a tiny video. Sometimes I just take my camera and just record there, and I just look back at the clip so that I can further take the advice that I've been given from my teachers, and usually what I'll do is just go around, and even if I have like a little bit of time that I can learn from some of these teachers, I would go and take that, because at the end of the day it can be that little 5 minutes in your life that's all you need to make like a massive difference in your life. So again, any opportunities you get to get some sort of feedback from a person who knows about the field or the topic much better than you, and they are kind of like a professional on the topic, then I would highly advise for you to go and take that advice, or at least take the advice on board and at least note it down so that you know that this is some advice that you can rely on. So getting feedback from a teacher is very important. And even if you don't have a teacher, as I said, with all sorts of topics out there, like you can always find some sort of mentor, even if it's online. Even though I personally wouldn't recommend just going and finding like an online random mentor, but rather face to face, I would always prefer it over online. That's just me personally. But also face to face, there is so many more things that you can learn from someone's character to the way they behave, the way they walk, the way they portray themselves. And there is there's a sort of blessings slash sort of uniqueness when you meet someone face to face and you get to actually spend time with them. So 100% that's something that I would advise, to go and find a teacher and also get feedback from them so that you can understand where you're going wrong or what you should do and what you should not do and stay away from. Another tip I would say is to go and test yourself. Now you can test yourself. I already mentioned it before about immersing yourself into the topic. That's kind of like testing yourself, but have a specific time, like every week or every few weeks, or even a specific time and every few days or every day, depending on how your routine fits, where you actually test yourself on the things that you've already learned. And this comes with many different techniques you can use. You can use active recall, spaced repetition, all of that stuff. You can use it to test yourself, but just make sure that you are testing yourself, because otherwise a lot of the things that you learn you're going to forget. And this is just like natural for human beings to kind of forget. And there's also a concept called Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. So usually people, after they learn something, they will start to forget it. And if you guys are one of those people who do hifz and you memorize the Quran, you realize that one of the advice your teachers always gives you is that make sure that your revision, that the things that you memorize from the back or whatever part of the Quran you memorize from, make sure it's nice and solid. And the analogy I like to give to some of my Quran students as well is that imagine you're building a building, like a very tall building, but the foundation is weak. If the foundation is weak, the building is going to start to wobble and is going to eventually collapse. And when it collapses, it's going to do harm to you and perhaps to people around you. So when you're memorizing the Quran, try to always do your revision. And this is something that it's like basic knowledge. Like everyone tells you, make sure your revision is there. And when you're a kid, a lot of the times you don't take that and you're like, I just want to finish memorizing the Quran. But honestly guys, this is one key tip I would give you. Make sure that building your hifz, the foundation is nice and strong. Before you build more floors, before you go to a different juz and you try to memorize it, make sure that your foundation is very strong. Because at the end of the day, if you just keep on memorizing and exposing yourself to different fields, but you don't remember the stuff that you memorized in the first place, a lot of this stuff is just, it just doesn't make much of a sense. So try to retain the knowledge that you already learned and then build upon that. So another tip I would give is to go and teach others, and this is something that I do. Like my company Abu Educates, you guys know I've been tutoring for years by now, and one benefit I can definitely give you is that when you teach others, you don't only like build your character and learn all these communication, teaching skills and everything, but the content stays in your head like pretty much all of the time. So with me, because I'm always tutoring mainly A-level biology and chemistry and GCSE all subjects, like I don't know if you guys remember doing GCSE English literature and all of those crazy poems and all of those other books that you had to learn, Macbeth and whatnot. Those books, I don't even revise them, I don't even look at them. But because I've been teaching it for so long, it's like it's automatically stuck in your head, if that makes sense. So 100% teaching others will really give you that boost. Now again, you don't have to teach and to earn money. You can just go and teach your brothers and sisters, your siblings at home, or you can go and teach someone else like in your neighborhood or something. Like just teaching in general is literally going to help you so much to retain that information. And a lot of the teachers, a lot of the Islamic scholars out there who teach Quran as well, some of my own teachers, I remember that they would use their students sometimes on like a very busy day when they didn't have, or they didn't manage to get enough time to do their own Quran revision, is that they would test their students a lot, and they would test that specific part and they would hear it a lot, and they would kind of do their revision alongside with the student. So a lot of the times, just by you teaching someone else, the information is going to stay in your head. So with the Quran revision, if you have like a younger brother or something, or a younger sibling, and they recite to you some part of the Quran from, let's say, Juz 30, then just by you hearing it in itself is kind of like revision, if that makes sense. So again, teaching is definitely one of the advice I would give. But anyway lads, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, but most importantly, I hope you guys benefited from the video. And you know, alhamdulillah, hopefully some of these tips are tips that I currently use as well, so hopefully it can do some sort of benefit to you guys. And that's pretty much about it. Check out my company and all of our different ebooks and my training plan, which is now out inshallah, and people are purchasing it. So if you guys want to make gains like me, then go and get this stuff. Links will be down there in the description below. Honestly guys, and thank you so much for the support. But as usual, check out my socials. Links will be down there in the description below. I'll see you soon inshallah with some banging videos. And other than that, stay safe, stay blessed. I'll see you in my next video, and Assalamualaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuhu.